What's happening, gang? It's your boy Retro back again with another reaction video. Yeah. Today we got another huge update that you guys can probably already tell that it is going down. Just by that title alone, you guys are definitely gonna want to check this one out. So we got a legal storm brewing for that Democratic representative Ilhan Omar as she risks everything by continuing to double down on her very disgusting and inflammatory rhetoric on the Charlie Kirk tragedy, guys. And I'm excited to get into this one, so now I'm straight into it. All I ask that you guys please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and without further ado, let's hop straight into it, folks. Check this one out.
Congresswoman Ilhan Omar facing some significant fallout after making these harsh comments following the assassination of Charlie Kirk.
There is nothing more effed up, than to completely pretend that his words and actions have not been recorded and in existence for the last decade. These people are full of and it's important for us to call them out.
Tennessee Republican Senator Marsha Blackburn took offense, reacting on X, quote, "Ilhan shows no remorse in slandering an honorable man who was brutally murdered in cold blood for the entire world to see. As many grieve the loss of a husband, father, and patriotic American, Ilhan has chosen a divisive and dangerous path for our country."
I am filing a privileged motion this morning to censure Ilhan Omar for alleging that Charlie Kirk is a terrorist in her content and all but blaming him for his assassination, but also strip her of her committee assignments. I believe in the First Amendment. You have the right to say whatever you want, but that has consequences, and she should be admonished, and she should be reprimanded here in Congress. This is the sort of thing that is putting conservatives' lives in danger.
Omar says Nancy Mace is trying to censure me over comments I never said. Her resolution does not contain a single quote from me because she couldn't find any. Unlike her, I have routinely condemned political violence, no matter the political ideology. So Nancy Mace wants her removed from the House Budget and Education and Welfare Committees. And in response, the Congressional Progressive Caucus is trying to censure Congressman Corey Mills. What are your thoughts?
Well, I don't think we have to pretend anything about Ilhan Omar. She has demonstrated for many years that she is a hate-filled person and a bigot, and she says horrible, odious things on a regular basis. And whether every single one of those occasions means that she should be censured or thrown off of committees, I don't know. I guess that's up for elected officials to decide.
Yeah, and lawmakers have every right to remove her if they feel fit. All right, this is Nancy Mace and AOC. Watch this.
I am sick and tired of the threats that we're all receiving right now. They are horrific. They are vile. They are dangerous. And you can't keep calling us fascists and terrorists and expect us to just sit here and take it.
So we're seeing Representative Ilhan Omar attempting to throw her hands in the air and play the victim of this situation, but we've also kept the receipts of her continuing to incite and refusing to condemn political violence.
I do believe those of you who are interested in rewriting this hateful man's history are full of shit.
Thank you.
Was founded after 9/11 because they recognized that some people did something and that all of us were starting to lose access to our civil liberties.
Omar, anybody safe?
Can I get your reaction to the shooting that happened in D.C. last night?
I'm going to go for now.
I'm going to go for now, Mark. Couldn't even say condolences for the family.
To be coming out of our country. I mean, I grew up in a dictatorship. And I don't even remember ever witnessing anything like that. To have a democracy, a beacon of hope for the world to now be turned into one of the worst countries where the military are in our streets without any regard for people's constitutional rights, while our president spending millions of dollars propping himself up like a failed dictator with a military parade. It is really shocking, and it should be a wake-up call for all Americans to say this is not the country we were born in. This is not the country we believe in. This is not the country our founding fathers imagined. And this is not the country that is supported by our Constitution, our ideals, our values. And we should all collectively be out in the streets rejecting what is taking place this week.
So folks, it's very clear to see who's truly displaying very disgusting behavior and continuously refusing to condemn political violence. It's Representative Ilhan Omar, but wait, she continues to make matters worse by getting into a full-blown back and forth with Republican Congresswoman Nancy Mace on X. I want you guys to take a look at this one. All right, folks, so this whole spat originated with Nancy Mace bringing back to light an old tweet from Ilhan Omar all the way back from March 18th of 2022, where Ilhan tweeted out saying, does the First Amendment protect your freedom of speech? Yes. Does it protect you from being shamed or shunned by others? No. Bottom line, your opinions have consequences like everything else in life. Wow. So you're telling me that Ilhan Omar is very aware of this concept but feels that the rules do not apply to her in typical Democratic fashion. And then Nancy Mace said, Ilhan Omar said it herself, straight from the horse's mouth. Actions have consequences. Time to live by it, Ilhan. And then she continued on saying that she'd filed a resolution to censure her and strip her of her committee assignments. If you celebrate tragedy, maybe Somalia can take you back. And we already know Ilhan Omar was quick to respond to this one, where she says, I know you aren't well or smart, but I hope someone can explain to you that there isn't a correlation between my committee assignments and deportation. Regardless of what you do with these committees, my office will continue to be next to you, and I will continue to be in Congress. Wow, okay. Ilhan Omar with the clap back. And then Nancy Mace, right back at her, said, we would love to see you deported back to Somalia next. Yes. And Ilhan did not stop there. Continued on saying, we'd love to see you get the help you need next. You belong in rehab, not in Congress. Very shameful remarks from Ilhan Omar. Nancy Mace was not taking that. She snapped back and said, coming from someone who calls her brother husband, that's rich. Wow, talk about a bomb. That's how you end it right there, Nancy Mace. And I'll tell you guys what, Ilhan Omar is playing with fire in this situation. This is a lose-lose in a fight that is not worth fighting. It's best to just admit fault when you're in the wrong, but it seems that Ilhan Omar is just simply not capable of doing so. And instead, she took to CNN to double down on her comments earlier this morning.
I just think it was the video where it called him Dr. Frankenstein and said his monster shot him through the neck. I mean, obviously this is a person, and looking at this is someone who was a husband and a father, and in the days after his shocking death, that happened as a result of his views, or it happened as a result as he was sharing his views publicly with people, that people found it jarring to hear such criticism of that in the immediate aftermath of
what
death.
I find jarring is that there are so many people willing to excuse the most reprehensible things that he said, that they agree with that they're willing to have monuments for him, that they want to create a day to honor him, and that they want to produce resolutions in the House of Congress honoring his life and legacy. It is one thing to care about his life, because obviously so many people loved him, including his children and wife. But I am not going to sit here and be judged for not wanting to honor any legacy this man has left behind. That should be in the dustbin of history, and we should hopefully move on and forget the hate that he spewed every single day.
Now, folks, I will scream to the high heavens that I'm on board with free speech, but this one completely crossed the line of a very dangerous rhetoric that has proven to end badly if we haven't noticed so already. And now we have the Trump administration gearing up for a removal, a denaturalization, and a deportation.
Well, I think about Charlie Kirk. You're a foreigner and you're out just celebrating the assassination of someone who was speaking somewhere. I mean, we don't want you. Why would we want to give a visa to someone who thinks it's good that someone was murdered in the public square? It's just common sense to me. We revoke visas of people. I don't know. We revoke visas of people that are inside the country. We've most certainly been denying visas. I mean, think about it. I want everybody to think about this for a moment. Okay? You're out there celebrating the assassination in cold blood of someone And then you want to come in. Why would we want anything like that in our country as a tourist, as anything? We don't want to live here. We got to go a process and all these, but I'm sure there'll be something to revoke. There's no shortage of idiots around the world that decide it's a great idea to murder someone. I sure want people like that in our country. By the way, it's bad that we have people that are U.S. citizens that feel that way. We can't revoke. We don't need a visa. I don't have a visa. But you're a foreigner. Why would we want to allow it to the United States, someone who's in favor of murder? We don't want pro-murder people in America.
Ilhan Omar, after his assassination, called Charlie Kirk a reprehensible human being. Should she be stripped of her community assignments?
I would say, I think she's a disgraceful person. You know, I think she's a disgraceful person, a loser. It's amazing the way people vote. I know it's people from her area, maybe of the world. I don't know. They got here and they voted her in. It's hard to believe, but I think she's a disgusting person.
Have you asked to start revoking the visas of the foreigners who have celebrated Charlie Kirk's death?
No, we haven't, but we are looking at names. We don't like that. That's not right. We wouldn't celebrate if something happened on their side, and we don't. These are sick people. These are really deranged people.
So we can clearly see the Trump administration is not kidding around and has a full head of steam on this one, yet Democratic leaders like Hakeem Jeffries still feel valid, somehow pushing the blame onto President Donald Trump and dismissing all wrongdoings of Representative Ilhan Omar.
What do you think your responsibility is as the leader of the Democrats to curb rhetoric that might be inflammatory, and specifically that of Omar?
We have made clear that political violence directed at anyone in any way or in any place is unacceptable in the United States of America, and every member of Congress and certainly the President of the United States have a responsibility to take the temperature down and ensure that we are lifting people up. There are many people who have doubled and tripled down on inflammatory rhetoric in the aftermath of the killing and assassination of Charlie Kirk, who hold extreme views outside of this institution. And the question that should be asked is, has the president brought the rhetoric down? Calling people sick, is that a reduction in rhetoric? Calling folks who are calling for retaliatory violence or suggesting that one could care less about bringing the country together, is that the leadership that this moment requires? I think we need to come together, not as Democrats or Republicans or independents, but as Americans. That's a responsibility for everyone.
And I'm not sure if it's just me, but I feel like this is a no-brainer in this situation. You should not be out here trying to score political points through a tragedy on either side of the aisle, but it seems that the Dems cannot get this through their thick skulls. And I believe Fox News' Jesse Waters said it best in his next clip.
Well, you're seeing a massive disinformation campaign run by the legacy media to try to detach themselves from this killer, and it's not working. We expose it immediately, and it's been debunked, and they're never going to get away with any of this stuff anymore. They are over. In terms of people, you have a right to say Charlie Kirk deserved to die. You have a right to say you're glad he died. But you don't have a right to work at this company. You don't have a right to teach my kids. You don't have a right to serve in government. You are basically telling the world you're evil. You are telling the world you can't be trusted. You are telling the world you are comfortable with cold-blooded killing. Now, do you want someone like that sitting next to you in the office? If CNN had a producer after 9/11 that was going around saying, yep, the chickens have come home to roost, you think he'd last one day at that office? What about Irina, the Ukrainian? Could you say she had it coming? Glad she died. Or, I'm so glad Epstein got a hold of all these girls. Thank goodness. Or, you know what, the Palisades fire, that should have burned more. It's the same thing. And you would never tolerate that kind of lack of humanity with people that you are spending close proximity with. Because who knows what else they're capable of.
And that right there is exactly why I like to check in on what folks like Jesse Waters are feeling like in times like these, because more often than not, he's hitting that nail right on the head. And he's correct in saying it's time for these loonies on the left to finally be held to it. And while we're on the topic of accountability, I want to quickly flip to President Donald Trump's final warning to Representative Ilhan Omar before he finally drops that hammer. So here's President Trump's fiery Truth Social post and his final warning to Representative Ilhan Omar, where he states Ilhan Omar's country of Somalia is plagued by a lack of central government control, persistent poverty, hunger, resurgent terrorism, piracy, decades of civil war, corruption, and pervasive violence. He then says 70% of the population lives in extreme poverty and widespread food insecurity. Somalia is consistently ranked among the world's most corrupt countries, including bribery, embezzlement, and dysfunctional government. All of this, and Ilhan Omar tells us how to run America. P.S. Wasn't she the one that married her brother in order to gain citizenship? What a scum we have in our country, telling us what to do and how to do it. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Make America great again. Wow, you guys, talk about laying it on thick. We can see that our president feels very deeply about this one, and Representative Ilhan Omar is on the verge of losing everything for her inability to be a decent human being. And I know you guys know this has the internet in a complete frenzy. Folks are talking all over the net. I got a couple of reactions from users on X that I want to check out before we get out of here. And first up, we have a Book Network here on X tweeting out saying that Ilhan Omar's IQ test score is more than likely around 70. I don't know, you guys. I would not be surprised if it was even lower. And then we got Hero here on X tweeting out saying when Ilhan Omar makes ridiculous and nasty comments, especially the ones about Kirk, the problem is not her. The problem is squarely on those who allowed her into the country and elected her into office. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't know how she got to the position that she's currently in. I'm not sure if they imported voters or what they did, but she is truly not fit to serve in this country. And of course, we got Representative Nancy Mace coming to the talk, saying nothing warms our hearts more than a flood of calls from Ilhan Omar's own district backing our move to censure her and strip her of her committees. One caller put it best and said that she's Somalia first. You can really tell that with Ilhan Omar. She does not have America's best interest in mind ever when she's making decisions. I just don't believe some of the things that comes out of her mouth. These clips blow my mind. Then we got our friend MAGA Voice here on X with a chant. Ilhan Omar should be expelled from Congress multiple times. I mean, you could say that as many times. I don't know when it's going to actually happen. I'm tired of hearing these calls for action. I'm tired of, begging for them to finally do something, remove these folks that don't belong in Congress in the first place. But we're going to see some action. Let's finally see the gloves coming off and these folks being held accountable for their very dangerous and inflammatory rhetoric. Then we got 0 Hour here on X tweeting out and saying, everyone for the deportation of Ilhan, reply one word, yes or no. And I know you guys could probably just about imagine how that one went. We got folks asking for her to be investigated for her questionable net worth jump. I'm really trying to figure it out. She went from a negative 65K in 2020, knee deep in debt, to somehow 4 years later up 30 million. And we have Freaky Squid says yes with a photo of Ilhan. Yes, she committed immigration fraud with her brother. Yes, by trebuchet. Yes, seize all of her and her family's assets, and I mean all, right down to the pencils on their desks. Yes, from Congressman Randy Fine, and we got someone smashing that deport button. This is the sports patriot. Wow, I mean, come on, you guys, just hop in the comment section. I want to know your guys' vote for the deportation of Ilhan Omar. Reply one word, yes or no, and honestly, give me an explanation as to why. It won't be too hard. Honestly, there's ample reason underneath the sun as to why Ilhan Omar should not be in the seat that she's holding. I mean, let's just be real with ourselves. Yo, there we have it, guys. Oh my goodness. Talk about adding fuel to the fire, escalating a situation that didn't need to be further. We got Ilhan Omar without the ability to come out and admit fault when she's wrong. I mean, anyone with a sound and a rational mind would say that Ilhan Omar is just about as wrong as two left shoes, but yet she wants to point and place the blame on figures on the right, on President Donald Trump, when we can see that her words, her rhetoric is not right. This is not, decent human being behavior. on both sides. You look at this and you say, if this was someone on the right acting this way, the people on the left would lose their minds, guys. But definitely hop in the comment section. Comments are open. I'm excited to hear what you guys are thinking on this one. Also, make sure you guys please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd enjoy more content like this, catch you guys on the next one. We